1. So I don't work at the front desk, but I was in the office when this happened and overheard the whole interaction and watched it on the camera. A guest approaches the front desk. Older lady decked out in the colors of our local college sports ball team. She is super excited because she knows that the team stayed with us during their training camp one time, and that they stay together at a local hotel the night before any home games. And she's hoping to see them or get any info on where they are. She knows which hotel they stayed at last year, but they aren't there this year. AGM was at the front and explains that they stayed with us 2 years ago, are not currently staying with us, and no longer stay at the other hotel she saw them at.
So where are they staying this year? I want to know.
Unfortunately, I can't disclose that information.
Oh, so you do know, I see. That means they must be staying at a hotel owned by the same company, so...
No, they aren't staying at any of our properties this year. I just know a lot of people in the industry.
So tell me where they are. You can tell me, it's just me. Come on.
I really can't say anything. We had to sign a form and everything.
Yes, okay, I'll sign the form. Give me the form. I won't tell anyone. It's just me.
She then goes on to tell a story about how when she was staying at the same hotel as them last year, she waited by the team bus in the parking lot for one specific player. Apparently, he has older brothers who had played on the same team, and she stopped him and told him he had to take a picture with her because she had pictures with his brothers but not him. He was nice and took a picture. So, after arguing that we should disclose confidential information because it's just me, she turned around and admitted she was going to use the info to stalk the players and bother them for photos or whatever. And she really didn't understand why he wouldn't tell her. The best part is, near the end of the interaction, as she kept pushing, he eventually seemed to get flustered and basically accidentally let slip that they were staying at the Harriet in the next town over. She left smug and triumphant on her way to go bother them. He came back in the office and I told him I couldn't believe the nerve of that guest, and he said, "Yeah, don't worry. I said that on purpose. They're actually at the Milton." 2. I've worked several months at this location. My first front desk job. It'll come as no surprise that even in half a year I've witnessed the horrors of the front desk. But it's not the crises or problems that stick with me the most. It's the sheer disassociation from reality that some guests possess that leaves me thinking into the evening. One such gentleman decided to check in and break all the records in terms of the sheer confusion and bemusement I was left with. I'm on the phone with the front desk agent in the property across from us, under the same management, discussing a missing reservation. Realizing I have a guest approaching me, I quickly wrap up, letting her know I'll be able to come over after checking in a guest. The guest in question has reached the front desk by now, and as I hang up, I greet him with the standard, "Hi, sir, how can I help you?" Silence, during which I see him fumbling for cards in the mirror. So I wait for him to finish. Turning around, he says nothing and simply places his hotel brand credit card and member card on the desk. No ID. I can see from the card his name, of course, and pull up the reservation. "Thank you, sir. I'll still need an ID to check you in." He gestures at the cards. "Yes, I will need the credit card, and we've already got the member account, but I still need an ID." His first words of the conversation, "What do you mean, ID?" "A photo ID, sir, if you have a license, or—" "My name is on the card." "Indeed it is. However, I do need an ID to check in." He grumbles and pulls out a disheveled-looking wallet. "Will military ID work?" "Absolutely, sir." And then I see what looks to be a wallet sleeve, almost entirely covered in Sharpie. "Would you mind removing it? I can't read the name." More grumbling. "All right, perfect. I see you have a card ending in," I give the number on the file. "Do you want to switch it over to this one?" This is where the fun begins. The pin pad is on my right side, and for some reason, all the obstinate guests come to my left. So I have to gesture towards the machine my monitor is directly in the way of. He tells me to switch it over, handing me the card. I show him as I place it on the machine. Absolutely, if you could just insert it over here.
Don't you switch it over?
Something wasn't clicking in my brain. Every other guest out of thousands had walked over and put their card in the machine. Yes, I just need you to insert it into the pin pad.
I've been going to this hotel for 30 years and I always just hand them the card.
If you've been going to this hotel for 30 years, you'd know I need an ID, I desperately wished to say. He begrudgingly agrees to insert his card, and I have to actually teach him how to use the chip on his credit card. This grown adult has apparently been throwing his card at everyone, never actually making his own transactions. And then comes the signature. Another apparently foreign experience.
So you're telling me you took my credit card and now I'm signing a blank check? Where's the amount?
It's not a blank check, sir. However, we don't have all the charges you have made to your room during your stay until checkout, so there's no amount shown. However, I can tell you the authorization will be made for a certain amount, plus $50 incidental fee. I had apparently mentioned a forbidden word.
$50 of incidentals?
While he wasn't shouting relative to the mumbling and grumbling before this, surprised me the most, as if he had. My confusion at how this man managed to drive himself over to our hotel, let alone navigate the rest of his life, had reached its peak of the interaction. Yes, sir, it will be refunded to your account at checkout. Bear in mind, he hadn't outright refused to do anything, but his sheer incredulity was honestly more shocking. And then the ironically self-aware comment as he signed,
"I'm terrible at self-service."
Yes, sir. Yes, you are. The rest of the interaction was more or less straightforward. He got his keys and headed up to his room. Within 45 minutes he, 1. Called to ask for a wake-up call, which turned into a discussion about daylight savings, and I had to assure him I checked with the engineer to make sure it would go at the right time. 2. Asked where the ice machine was. I explained it wasn't public, but I'd be happy to fill his container for him. Post-COVID policies, to which he seemed to think was not only ridiculous, but I was incapable of doing, stressing the importance of it being filled to the top. 3. Brought down his paper water cups, just to show me they had some sort of residue on the inside. If this had been his only nitpick, I would have more than sympathized with him, but at that point it almost felt like he was playing the part of the difficult guest. Cups are over by the coffee maker. 4. Post grabbing his cups.
Why does it say such and such in the outside of the hotel?
That's the bar. I gestured to the bar behind him. He doesn't even look where I'm pointing.
What?
That's the name of the bar, I said, pointing again. He finally looks over, and after maybe 10 seconds, says,
"That's a dumb name for a bar,"
and walks away. I respond, "Okay." I explained this to my GM relatively soon afterwards, and he had me put a note on the reservation explaining the guest's challenges. I wrote that he had a difficult time checking in due to unfamiliarity with the process. At the end of it all, nobody was wronged or hurt, but my God, are people living in their own world sometimes? 3. Okay, so where to begin? For a few months now, I have been assigned as a night auditor. I don't mind it. It's usually pretty peaceful, and I can also catch up on some reading. The hotel that I work in is in a pretty big city, and let's just say that with the location come the people. Which means that now and then there would be a few very special people, weirdos, coming in the hotel. As an example, let me tell you a story about this amazing Karen. It was not that late at night. It was around midnight, which is pretty early in my shift. I came to the front desk already sick, so I pretty much didn't want to be bothered and just drink my tea in peace. But then I spotted her walking on the street with intent of arguing tonight, our beloved Karen. I still prayed to God that she wasn't headed for the entrance. Yet anyway, she wobbled herself through the door. As per usual, I greeted her with a warm smile and asked her how I can help her.
I will stay in your hotel until 5 a.m.
I'm sorry, you will do what? To explain my reaction, our hotel policy is that outside guests aren't allowed to stay in the hotel lobby after the night auditor arrives. To continue, I asked Karen if she would like to book a room for that period. At first, she agreed. Then I told her the price. It's a pretty luxury hotel. The moment she heard me say that, she went on a rant. My God, I was not feeling physically good enough to handle that. But it wasn't just with the prices she had a problem. Suddenly she was ranting about politics and how I am responsible for hiding criminals in the hotel, to the history of our country, and how unfair of me it was to not let her stay in the lobby until 5 a.m. Usually, I'm pretty nice to people, and I'm a big people pleaser. Not with her. I explained why I can't let her stay in the lobby, our hotel policy, and asked her if she would like to book a room. Again. The yelling didn't stop. Continued in a calm voice to tell her that those are the hotel rules. Again. Yelling. In the midst of my coughing, sneezing, and her belittling me, I pulled out the only thing on my mind. Ma'am, I'm not paid enough to listen to you. I am a night auditor and cannot solve your problems. I am also sick, and if you do not want to catch a nasty cold from me, I advise you to leave the hotel. In case you don't, I will call security. Well, she went away quite quickly, but not before calling me all sorts of slurs and pointing a middle finger at me through the window. I replied with a smile and a wave. Enjoy your night, Random Karen, wherever you are now, and thank you for giving me a story to publish. P.S. Would you react any differently? 4. Tonight was an ordinary night like any other, until it wasn't. We were completely sold out this night, so I assumed that I would be in for a quiet night of snacks and YouTube. I only had 2 rooms to check in, so what could possibly go wrong? Murphy's Law decided to make a fool out of me tonight. My first check-in arrives around midnight, and the check-in process is as straightforward as it can go. No deposits any longer at our location, thanks management, so checking in this Rex Media prepaid reservation was simple, as all I had to do was collect an ID and give them their room key. Excellent, I thought to myself, 1 down, 1 to go. The night was going well with the rest of the guests fast asleep. The hotel had finally hit that quiet point of the night that us night auditors cherish so dearly. And just as soon as it started, the universe decided to play a cruel trick on me and cut the silence in the air with a blade made of magma. For I was standing in the lobby when I heard the sound of children yelling and playing from down the hall. Now, throughout my time at this job, I'd like to think I've learned to tell the difference between a fussy baby being put to bed and children whose parents seemingly do not understand the concept of a bedtime. This unfortunately seemed like the latter. That's fine, I reconciled with myself. Kids are probably just tired of being cooped up in the car. They should go to bed shortly. I start to sweep up the lobby that was in need of attention due to the amount of dirt tracked through on this particular day. I continue to hear noises coming down the hall about 15 to 20 feet and begin to get worried. It's been about 10 minutes and the kids have now settled for a slight uproar. They could be getting some great wildlife audio from whatever noises these kids were making. Not good. I walk down the hall and knock on the door, preparing myself for confrontation. The door opens and the dad to the 3 kids is standing at the door. I can tell he already looks unpleased. Hi, I'm from the front desk. I was just wondering if you could please keep the volume down in here. It's midnight now and we have a full house. A reasonable request, or so I thought. Mom comes to the door at this point and starts bombarding me with questions, namely, who are you and do you work here? I should point out, listeners, that I work at a small non-chain hotel in the middle of nowhere, so no uniforms are provided. This typically isn't an issue, as I'm seen walking around with a cordless analog phone, and most people recognize that as me being an employee. I reiterate myself and ask if the volume of the room could be kept to a minimum. This is when I was hit over the head with a comment that still perplexes me, and the mom says, "They're kids. What do you want me to do? I'm not going to tell them to shut up." This comment struck me as particularly funny due to the amount of times I was told to shut up as a child. But besides that, it just miffed me because, yes, that's literally your sole job. Keep your children in check when you travel to places. I don't know, maybe I'm old-fashioned that way. I'm unable to respond before she bombards me with statements of, "Do you have kids? Are you a parent? We only got here 20 minutes ago." I can tell this is going nowhere fast and restate our quiet hours policy, before telling them that if they are unable to keep the volume down, that they might be asked to leave. I decide to leave it at that and scurry to the back office where I can continue to watch YouTube in peace. Unfortunately, that isn't the end of our tale. From my place in the back office, with a particularly loud networking server blowing, I could still hear the kids hooting and hollering throughout the hallway. I take a deep breath and knock on the door once again, preparing myself for a fight. The mom answers the door, and I start to reiterate our policy about quiet hours, before the mom cuts me off saying that they are going to be leaving anyway. She wants to speak to my manager. I inform her I am the manager on duty, and if she has any comments or concerns, she can call the front desk in the morning. This isn't adequate for her, and she demands to speak to someone higher up. Exasperated at this point, I tell her I am the only employee here. It's midnight. She says, "No, that isn't good enough. I want to speak to a manager." It's also at this point that they accuse me of being a racist. What part of "I am the only employee here" are you not freaking understanding? I begin to realize I'm not dealing with someone on the same plane of reality as me. Fed up at this point, my customer service skills go out the door. They are no longer welcome guests, and they haven't treated me with an ounce of respect, so I drop the BS. "Listen, you aren't going to speak to a manager tonight about this. You can call the owner in the morning and tell him how much you hate me, whatever. But right now I need you to just get your stuff and head out, please." I return to the back office once again and keep an eye on the cameras. They load their kids into the car and walk back inside to ask me about checkout documentation. We don't have any checkout documents. I point to our key drop box in our front desk. That's our checkout document. It's at this point that the husband asks for a refund for the 2 nights. I have the immense pleasure of telling him that he booked under Rex Media, and as such, he'll need to call them for a refund. They end up leaving, but not before the mom uttered "racist-ass bitches" under her breath. Fellow night auditors, you know where this is headed. Well, sure enough, about 20 minutes later, I get a call on behalf of our mutual guest. I am sure you hate these calls as much as I do. As soon as he finished, I said straight up, the reason they were asked to leave is because they couldn't keep control of their kids. They were also extremely rude and belligerent, so no, they aren't getting a refund under any circumstances. Followed up by asking for my name and position. That was all I had to deal with on the phone call. I guess the moral of this story is that you cannot tell kids to shut up. This ends the story of me being a racist-ass bitch. La fin. 5. The setting. A luxury beach resort. Today, a warm Friday in early November. Group season, thank the good Lord. Occupancy is sitting at 90% today, 100%, and -1 rooms tomorrow. The players. Dunkachino Gaming, that's me. Persistent Peach and The Friend. Opening act. A large group of check-ins has just entered the lobby. All these check-ins know each other and converse within their group. I recognize a handful from last year. They are all transients who will call an unofficial group, because they all want to be treated like a group. All hell is about to break loose this weekend. Our main antagonists, Persistent Peach and The Friend, are among the clamor. They approach my desk. "Good afternoon. Welcome to the 5 Myths Pistortia. How may I assist you?"
"Hi," says Persistent Peach. "Dunkachino Gaming, how are you? We're checking into 2 rooms. It's my husband's birthday. Can we get an upgrade?"
"I'll certainly see if that's a possibility. If I could just take a look at your credit card and photo ID. Pause the story for a moment, for a cynical rant. We're a few seconds into the check-in, and they've committed 3 of my cardinal sins. 1, they read my name tag and said my name right off the bat. Can any of you in the industry tell me when a guest called you by your name at the beginning of check-in, and they weren't a smoothing shithead to you by the end? 2, they then asked how I'm doing. A simple, kind gesture, a pleasantry, an opener. What could be possibly wrong with that? They committed sin 1, then sin 2 consecutively. They didn't wait for a response to how are you. There was a purpose in asking. It wasn't to connect with me. It was to put on a facade that they're my friend, that we're not about to do battle. Friends upgrade friends, and friends send free amenities to friends. I'm hoping I can connect with at least one of you on these first 2 sins, but I know I will for this one. 3. Before I can even check their photo ID, before I can even pull up their reservation on Opera Q, they ask for a free upgrade. No time to wait, they're ready to fight. They both hand me the collateral, and I pull up the reservation. They both booked through American Samosa Espresso's subpar hotels and resorts for 2 nights. They booked a standard room, and our room's controller hasn't already upgraded them. I take a closer look and confirm. These reservations are brand new. I check inventory to see if we have any upgrades, and we do not. I do see that you booked through shitty inns and cracked dens, but regrettably, we do not have any availability for an upgrade this weekend, as we are fully committed. The husbands walk over.
Oh, but it's my husband's birthday. We would like a free upgrade.
She turns to him.
Dunkachino Gaming is going to look for an upgrade for us.
Upgrade you my ass. Regrettably, Miss Peepee, we do not have any upgrades available for you this weekend.
Okay, but it's his birthday, and we're bringing 20 people in. Yeah, we have a big group, says the friend. By the way, we need a big conference room for our party.
They did this last year. They booked us transients, but expected meeting spaces and special rates without speaking to a soul from group sales. All of our meeting spaces are currently being used for several conferences we have in-house, which is why we do not have any availability for an upgrade. I do apologize. But I will let you know both of your rooms are ready right now, so we can go ahead and get you checked in.
It's his birthday, though, and we booked through mediocre hostels and storage containers. Shouldn't we get a free upgrade?
That's upon availability, and unfortunately, we do not have the availability to upgrade you this weekend. I can go ahead and check you into the accommodations you booked. One of my managers walks behind me to assist, a GSA.
Maybe your manager can help us out.
I am actually one of the front office supervisors. We do not have any available upgrades.
Come on, Dunkachino Gaming.
We have none. I'm so sorry.
What if I paid for an upgrade?
I've been down this road. We fight for a comp upgrade, then we haggle for an upsell, they bite, they go to the room, they complain about the room, upsell gone. We had no upsell opportunities anyway, though. We do not even have any availability for a paid upgrade.
Come on, I'll pay.
We have no availability for a paid upgrade.
Please, I'll pay.
I lean in. I am no longer using guest voice. If I upsold you into an upgrade, I'd make a commission off of it. It would be so much easier for me. It would be so much easier for our team. I am telling you, we do not have an upgrade available.
What about a room with an ocean view, or a bigger room, just a little?
I lean in more. This conversation is unproductive for both of us. We are done discussing. I'm going to check you into the rooms you booked now. She turns to her friend, who has been on her phone the whole time.
Wow, okay.
I check them in. Don't bother telling them all the fabulous benefits and credits they received through booking with Armenian Expressway. Make them their keys, introduce them to a bellman, and get them on their way. The bellman told me in the cafeteria later on, she told him I was mean to her, and that while he was unloading her bell cart, she also called reservations to complain about me for being so mean. It ain't easy serving up smiles and being so gosh darn mean. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Coahw, episode 130. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Before you go, please do poke the like button and share the video with friends and family. And if you'd like early access to the content, then you can support me through my Patreon, which is linked in the description. You'll also find a link to the Hellfreezer merchandise store on Teespring. If you'd like support on a more one-off basis, then you can make donations during streams or videos like this one by hitting the little heart with a $sign in the middle. You don't have to do this, but I do appreciate it, and it's been helping mitigate me freezing my butt off lately. Okay, let's see. I do actually have a belated birthday shout-out. This should have happened last week, but there was some brain muddling on my part. Okay, so it should have happened on November 8th, but we're going to do it a week later. So this one goes to George Charles III. His birthday was last week, and born in 1982. He is but a boy. Well, I hope you had and continue to have a wonderful birthday celebration, George Charles. May you continue to celebrate it right through to the end of the month. I'm sure you must have had cake or something last week, but as you're getting your birthday shout-out this week, why not treat yourself to another cake as well? Possibly some sort of soda or beer if that's what you're into. Anyway, before I go, I'd like to sing happy birthday, and I'm very sorry for forgetting it on the day. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear George Charles. Happy birthday to you. Alrighty, let's see. Let's move right along to Hellfreezer's question of the day. And today's question is: are Beanie Babies considered stuffed animals? Personally, I'd say yes, at least the ones that are animals, because they have beads in them, certainly, rather than traditional stuffing, but I don't think it really matters what they're stuffed with, as long as they're stuffed with something. I mean, you could probably stuff them with seeds or, I don't know, like beans and things, and that would probably still count as stuffing, albeit non-traditional. Anyway, that's my thought on it. I wonder what you guys think, so I look forward to reading your comments below. And with that, I'm gonna head off for now. I'm getting hungry, so it's time to make dinner. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.